We comfortable going on to Maraja and Tatbir?
Let's do it.
Who do you follow? Say the Sistani? Go look at his maktab, what does it say? You follow say Sadiq al-Shirazi? Go ask his wakil. I'm not here to speak on their behalf.
See, this is the thing.
If your father, God forbid, passes away, is someone gonna tell you, oh, you shouldn't cry like that?
Yeah.
Don't teach me how to cry.
Start writing a blog about it. Like, what?
I personally think we shouldn't even have this conversation.
But
the only time.
Have you seen it in our community? Oh no, I don't want to do Latam. Oh no, why are they doing this? Where's this come from?
I'll be honest with you, I was one of them.
I've had debates with Shia, I've had debates with Sunnis, relatives. I genuinely don't care anymore. On Ashura, I'm gonna hit my head with a sword. Like it, you don't like it, it's your problem.
Where's the limit?
Who decides the limit, man?
Hold on.
Does the scholar decide the limit?
That's true.
No.
Do you decide the limit?
Wait.
أضم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast. During this month of Muharram, these months that we do of sorrow, grieving, and remembering the tragic events that took place and calamities that fell upon Ali Muhammad. These calamities and these tragic events do bring emotion, anger, and sometimes different forms of eulogies and lamentation. But what are the rituals that we partake in during these holy nights of Muharram? Some customs are different to others. Some go back to different countries and different tribes. Is there plenty of room for these customs and rituals, or in living in the modern day, should they be improved? And maybe there are other ways that we can commemorate. To discuss and more, I'm with my brothers Hussain Sukhni and also Minhal Al-Khafaji. أضم الله أجورنا وأجوركم to you both. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
It's a heavy night.
Yeah.
It is a heavy night. It's a heavy 10 nights, and it is a heavy 2 months. With the day of Ashura coming up, the emotions that we feel will climax, but they will not end. You know, Ashura is the start of the tragedies of the Ahlulbayt. Not the start, it started before Ashura when they arrived to Karbala. The Masa'ib started. It started when the news of Muslim ibn Aqil reached Imam Hussein. It started from Nabi Adam. But if we were to say, you know, on our level, you know, the climax of our emotions will be around the corner on the day of Ashura. And, you know, the first thing I can say to start this off is, Alhamdulillah, we are alive to be able to serve this year and to mourn this year. And inshallah, we are alive for another 100 years, 1,000 years to be able to mourn till the end of our days as much as possible. A lot of khaddam have passed away this year.
Yeah.
You know, people pass away every year. You know, every soul shall taste death. But this year specifically, I don't know what it is, man. A lot of young shabab, a lot of khaddam that are more out there, that are known in their khidmah, you know, cooking, cleaning, latom. They haven't made it to this Muharram, and it breaks my heart for them. And it just shows that, you know, we might not be here next year. To be able to shed our blood for Imam Hussein, to be able to mourn for Imam Hussein.
That's actually such a scary thought.
It is.
That we won't, that
really
that one of the years will be our last Muharram on this earth.
Oh damn, I never thought of that.
One of the coming years is going to be our last.
Wow.
And it's such a scary thought. Are we serving enough? Are we taking lessons enough? Are we lamenting enough?
Ahsant.
Is there such thing as enough lamenting, or is there an amount that we should do and we shouldn't exceed it? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think we shouldn't. You know, I think Muhsin, you are very familiar with these things as well when it comes to the Azadari, Imam Hussein. You're very involved in these communities, but I personally think we shouldn't even have this conversation. We shouldn't limit what we give to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in anything. Put mourning aside, in anything. He's given us everything. Why should we limit ourselves to
the jaza' and the true love of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein cannot be contained Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. So Rasulullah, not one of the Imam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam.
Not that the Imam are insignificant, but
this is coming from Rasulullah.
yeah.
That there is a burning fire, you know, for the revenge of Abu Abdullah Hussain in the hearts of the believers. There is a fire burning in their hearts that they want revenge for what happened to Abu Abdullah Hussain. You know, so can we put limitations and so forth? We shall discuss, but let's first look at the beautiful rituals that we do have. And we have so many different rituals from different backgrounds, different customs, different countries. One of the first, I mean, let's put it, I'll put it to you guys. What's the first ritual, first thing that you guys do when it comes to Muharram? Now, me coming from the Pakistani community, the very first thing or the first glimpse of Muharram rituals is istishhad of Muslim bin Aqil. So even before Eid, there is a Majlis, we know.
Eid is hard.
Some commemorate the day Abu Abdullah Hussain left Medina to go to Mecca for Hajj, knowing that this was the final time that he was.
What do you call it? Rawangi? I think you guys.
Along them lines. I don't know exactly what it's called.
I think,
but it's when he left for Hajj, but we knew he had to change his niyyah to Umrah. And then from there head to. So he left Medina for the last time. So that's commemorated.
That's the thing. When do you start Ashura?
One.
You don't know where. Yeah.
One thing that just kills me because you mentioned it when he changed his niyyah from Hajj to Umrah, and one of Sheikh Zaman al-Hasnawi, may Allah prolong his life, when he's on the minbar and he mentions the change of niyyah and how all the Hajjaj are saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, and Abu Abdullah is the only one saying labbaik biqatli atfali labbaik labbaik bisabi nisa'i labbaik. That for me commences Muharram. Because that's it. Like Abu Abdullah al-Hussain knows that this is the moment. This is where I change my niyyah from Hajj to Umrah. Wow. How did the community reach such a level where this man, forget who he is, forget who he is, forget that he's a ma'soom, forget that he is the grandson of Rasulullah, forget that he is the one that Adam used his name in his supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forget that he is the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, forget he's the son of Fatima al-Zahra, forget he's the brother of Zainab, forget all of that. But you're taking an innocent man's life away.
I think it's all about who he is, though. That's what I think. I think it's definitely about, like, who else would Rasulullah cry for on his birth?
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of countries, even in Iraq, it's becoming more and more, but especially in like countries like Iran, they have a mawlid for Imam Hussein, but it turns into aza.
Yeah.
And it's not a planned thing. It's not something that they can, you know, we're going to do latam straight after this. It's a musibah.
Yeah.
Like, what we're going to read about Imam Hussein. Okay, we're happy, we're laughing, we're clapping. It's his birth. But at the end of the day, like you said, labbaik bisabi nisa'i labbaik. It's a musibah. The whole Abu Abdullah's life is a musibah.
Well, no, but you said the start in your community is the martyrdom of Muslim bin Aqil.
Yeah.
I said for me it's that moment where he just changes from Hajj. What's it for you?
I think I resonate with like I said, it's all a musibah. So it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Because you finish Muharram, you have what?
Safar.
Yeah.
You have Safar and you have the Mal'oonin attack the house of Fatima Zahra.
Yeah.
And that's where Karbala starts as well.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's the cycle, there's no gap in the cycle. And then you have the Fatimiyat, and you have, again, it goes around.
Yeah.
Ramadan with Amir al-Mu'mineen.
Everything leads up to Karbala. And it's a cycle that does not, it's like, you know, the infinity sign, it just keeps going. So I can never pinpoint a certain time where I can say Ashura started on a certain day. Yeah, maybe when I was younger, you know, changing of the flag signifies we've entered the month of mourning.
Yeah. That's a big one.
But the more we are reviving certain munasabat, reviving certain shahadas and certain things that happened to the Ahlulbayt alayhum salam, the more we realize that every single thing that happened, leads up to Karbala.
Indeed. I mean, all events from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu
Exactly,
alaihi wa all the way to Karbala. It's all linked.
Yeah, it's all linked.
Everything.
From the Battle of Badr, forget before the betrayals.
Yeah.
Why did they do what they did in Karbala? What was one of the reasons? They said this is revenge for our parents in Badr.
Because Abdul Hussein asked them, he goes, what have I done? Why do you want to kill me? It's not what you done, it's what your father did.
Yeah.
So it's pure hatred.
Karbala starts from way before Karbala. That's what I think we need to realize, that it's not just a battle that happened. It's not just, okay, we entered Karbala.
You mentioned the flag change. And I know, Minhal, you're very familiar with the flag change. You've done some amazing live coverage of it.
He really has.
How significant, let's just go through your own emotions as well when you're there and you're seeing the flag being changed.
Do you know what? For me, and I'm going to be completely honest, for me at the beginning of the flag change ceremony, when obviously the du'as are being read, for the viewer at home, they see it very clear. There's audio, it's very clear. They're sitting at home, the comfort of their own home. When you're on top of the Imam Hussein TV studio and it's literally, what do you call chinko in English?
Panels.
Panels, yeah.
Still panels.
When you're standing on top of that and it's nearly caving in, you're nearly falling onto the Iranian TV live stream happening. And you've got there's so much noise around. There's so much noise around.
There's a lot of heat as well.
There's a lot of heat as well. You're not really understanding what's going on. But once that red flag goes down, that's when it kicks in. That's when you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And look, we see it every year. We do it every year. We go every year. It doesn't change the reaction that your soul has towards this event.
Oh man,
You have to have the darkest heart, or you just have to not be of pure lineage for you not to feel heartbroken. At least heartbroken.
You have to be the son of haram for you not to cry.
At least heartbroken when the red flag comes down and the black one goes
For
up.
me, it's when Bain al-Haramain goes from green to red.
Yeah.
Because that's like instant, like, the lights go off and it goes red and you're like, what the, whoa, and then it kind of, it sinks.
It sets the tone.
It sets the tone, the penny drops, it sinks in. Yo, this is Muharram.
Like no more smiling, no more laughing, no more joking around.
And do you know what's brilliant about the flag change and Muharram in itself? It's that we go a few days before it. And obviously we our first day in Karbala, we go ziyarah, it's a red flag, everything's nice. We're waiting for Muharram, and then that's
Boom,
it.
It just changes.
It's changed. Yeah. And then Muharram starts, and then some of us come back to the UK and then come back for Arbaeen, and the flag is still black, and you're like, Musayib haven't finished? Musayib hasn't finished?
We come out of that world for like a couple of weeks and come back into it.
Yeah. I'm shocked that there's still people who want to be apologetic about the rituals of Muharram and Arbaeen and all that stuff.
But there's some beautiful, beautiful rituals.
I saw a video the other day. You know on TikTok when people post pictures, pictures of themselves, you slide across, and it was there was like a few pictures on there of a guy and doing khidmah and everything. And first of all, I'm like, wow, mashallah, this guy's doing khidmah. One of our boys, well, not one of our boys as we know him, but one of our Shia.
You can relate.
Yeah, you can relate to him. And on the pictures, he's put a commentary and it said quotes or words, and he's written, not all Shias beat their chests.
What?
No, slide, hold on.
Okay.
That's the first picture. Not all Shias beat their chests. Slide. We some of us don't agree with it. Slide. Some of us only cook and serve. Slide. Sorry? Oh, the first thing you learn as a kid in Majlis is to beat your chest.
Yeah.
So no problem. Tatbir, Zinjir, that comes later when you grow up and
you understand.
You understand the gravity of the situation. But nothing made me more proud to be Shi'i and more proud of our community than the comments.
Okay.
The comments were like, are you hoping that they're going to be proud of you? Did you get the validation that you wanted? Did you get their validation?
Wow.
Did you get this? Did you get that? Nothing made me more proud than that comment section.
Why? Sukhni, I know you are Allah Tam. You know, and now,
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
and in our community, you would be known as a Salar, and I know you know what a Salar is, right?
And Iraqi's Dagoog.
Dagoog.
Yeah.
But no, that's not the khaddam of those.
Do you feel that there is a less incline? Have you seen it in our community? Youngsters, I'm talking, they've got hair on their face. Oh no, I don't want to do latam. Oh no, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Where's this come from, and why is this growing in our community?
I think, like I said, Muharram is throughout the year. It's not just Ashura. And throughout the year, a lot of people are spending time, not in the wrong circles, but in different circles. So, you know, they start adapting to a different way of thinking, a way of approaching things, certain scenarios. But if you're surrounding yourself in the Hussainiyah throughout the year, there's nothing for you to be ashamed of. There's nothing for you to feel strange about when it comes to these things. It's all about your environment. And that's why I'll always say, alhamdulillah, shukr, that we have places for us to go throughout the year. Like, you know, Hussain, Rasul Al-A'zam, the Majlis, or the Al-Hassan. I'll always shout out Al-Hassan because there's a special place in my heart for Al-Hassan when it comes to Majlis throughout the year.
Yeah, they do.
Like a lot of centers, Muharram is Muharram, and the rest of the year, you know, we'll have a small majlis, we'll do some tabarruk. But Al-Hassan,
Forget small majlis, they don't even have a majlis, most centers.
like they don't.
Yeah.
But places like Al-Hassan, they will give, I can't say they'll give haqq to the shahada, but they'll give all they can.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Barga Al-Hassan, shout out to Barga Al-Hassan, they do great work, is that you go on Istishhad Imam Sadiq. They'll do their best to make it feel like it's Ashura.
Yeah.
Like it's a big event. It's a big day.
I went for Istishhad Imam Hussain Al-Askari one year.
Yeah.
Madloom Imam Hussain Al-Askari.
The father of our Imam.
When do we remember him?
Yeah.
I walked in, and then I was like, the ground floor, they've put sand in the whole Bargha, the whole Hussainiyah,
Yeah.
to help us relive some of the masa'ib of the Imam. You know, that's what we should be doing. Because when it comes to Muharram, your heart is softened. You're ready for the Azaa of Imam Hussein. And I think that's
Going back to your point
Yeah.
on, you know, people with, you know, they've got facial hair and that kind of,
Yeah.
why? I'll be honest with you, I was one of them.
Okay.
Why lie? So it's a podcast and we're here to be truthful and genuine.
So what was, at that time, at that age, what was going through your mind with these rituals?
So when you first start high school,
Yeah.
I was probably the only Shi'i in my year.
Okay.
Maybe there was one other guy.
I was the only Shia in my school. No,
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's how it was.
I was the only Shi'i in my year.
Yeah.
The first question I got asked as a Shi'i, which I had no knowledge of, by the way, why do you curse so and so?
Okay. So
I had no idea. So I said, we don't. Because I'm an 11-year-old kid. What am I going to know? I said, we don't. And it's from there when you get asked questions like these, when you only know your Shia. And of course, I don't blame it. You know, anyone in my position, 11 years old, knows nothing about Tashayyu. Just came out of doing your SATs exams.
yeah.
When you get surrounded and asked these questions, you start to form your whole lifestyle. And I'm telling you from personal experience, you start to form your whole lifestyle based on those questions. And based on your defense mechanism of answering those questions, just because you don't want problems.
So is it a case of trying to appease them, or being apologetic, or
Half and half. So appeasing them, but also not wanting any
aggro?
offense.
Okay.
You're on the defensive here. There's maybe 20 of them, there's one of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know the ins and outs of things because you're an 11-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't until at the age of 15 when I actually properly started to attend Majalis, when I started to properly get into lecturing, Muharram, Shi'ism, understanding my theology. I was just like, there could be 50 of you.
Yeah.
There could be 50 of you and me by myself. No problem. As long as we have an academic discussion, which I don't show myself to be a scholar and you don't show yourself to be a scholar, but we can talk. No problem. I've got no problem. You know, one time, and I don't say this to toot my own horn, as they say, but one time during my A-levels, when I was like 17, Wallah, I sat in front of seven of them.
Okay.
And we were having that discussion. And one guy, non-Muslim, he's, you know, from the road community, he said, you held your ground still.
Oh, wow.
And it's because I surrounded myself and I actively started to go to Majalis. My friend circle shifted from the school one to the Hussainiya one, where I started to understand my religion more. And that is, if there was one piece of advice I could give anyone, is you need to have a Hussainiya circle.
Yeah.
You need to have your
That
own
is
community.
a community
But
of
you
itself
know what it is,
for you
Minhal?
to grow and so forth.
I just don't care what they think anymore.
That's
nice.
That's at your age.
I genuinely,
No, I don't care either.
I genuinely do
Minhal's
not
though.
care.
That's through experience.
Yeah.
You've gone through it. You've grown out of it.
Don't get me wrong. I've had debates for days. I've had debates with Shia. I've had debates with Sunnis. I've had debates with relatives. I've had debates with people in my own mosque.
Speaker's corner.
I didn't grasp me. But I genuinely don't care anymore. My azat for Aba Abdullah is for me.
True.
You like it, you don't like it, there's the door. You're not going to change how I mourn for Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. That's my aqeedah, that's who I am. On Ashura, I'm going to hit my head with the sword. I'm going to bleed for Imam al-Hussein. You like it, you don't like it, that's your problem. I respect your opinion for you. Don't try force it on me, don't come try debate me. So they can sit there and talk all they want between themselves, like even on social media. I never entertain it. Never. Because they want that. And I don't have time for that. I already have enough space in my heart to mourn for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The only time though, I think this is what you're getting to, the only time I do is when they cross the lines.
Okay.
When they cross the lines of the hurma of the Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. And that's blood. Don't get me wrong, I don't shy away from you know, my quietness is not me shying away.
Yeah.
It's me not having time for the little people who don't understand the value and the level of the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. Not saying that I do, but I respect the level of the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, and I try to get closer to them.
Yeah.
I don't have time for these little people. But when they cross the boundaries, that's when my life is on the line to protect the sanctity of the Ahlulbayt alayhim
That's
salam.
how it should be. And that's how it should
So
be.
my quietness is not my fear. It's just me not having time for them little people.
See, but you know, there's you know, attack from other madhabs, and then sometimes there's attack from your own community when it comes to the azar.
Yeah.
I don't know why they attack. You have your opinion. Bismillah, have your opinion. You have your center. Mourn the way you want to mourn. You think your latam is enough? No problem. I'll come do latam with you. But don't try to limit me. There's certain things that I see online that maybe I wouldn't do. But I'll never, ever turn around and say they shouldn't do this. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm scared. I'm scared to cross the lines of those that love Imam al-Hussein. They might understand Imam al-Hussein in a different way. They might have different ma'rifah Imam al-Hussein. I'm not going to come and stop them from doing what they want to do and what they want to sacrifice for Imam al-Hussein. What am I going to say to Abu Abdullah on the Day of Judgment? I stopped your lovers from mourning for you just because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, true. I mean,
There was always that argument. There was always the argument of where's the limit, and you know, when you grow up, you hear different sides of the argument. But there was always the argument of
Who decides the limit, Minhaj?
Hold on.
Does the scholar decide the limit?
that's true.
No.
Do you decide the limit?
Wait.
That's a fair point.
There was always the argument of this is giving a bad image to Tashayyu.
Well, they can argue all they want. Who decides the limit?
No, I've got no problem.
Okay, and who a bad image in front of who?
يعني for example,
In front of who?
احنا we're trying to draw people towards Tashayyu,
I'm
right?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
We're trying to
For sake of
we're trying
argument,
to
okay.
make people understand about Abdullah al-Hussein, because obviously we know, as you know, and as you know, and as I know, and as everyone knows, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is not limited to the 10th of Muharram.
You're correct.
Okay. Yes, vital lessons can be learned from the 10th of Muharram, but he's not limited to the 10th of Muharram.
Hussein is eternal.
No problem. Now, the argument says, and I'm not saying I'm making the argument, I'm just saying there is an argument that to bring people towards Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, teach the people or show the people that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam isn't just latum,
Habibi
tatbir, zinjir.
Minhal, you're an academic. Use your academic skills to teach people about Imam al-Hussein.
Okay.
I'm a Azadar. I'm
Yeah.
going to use my Azadari to teach people about Imam Hussein. You might be a cook. Use your food to bring people towards Imam Hussein. You might be a graphic designer. Use your skills to bring people. You can't limit it to one method of teaching people about Imam Hussein. I'm not an academic the same way you are. Don't tell me to go take these non-Shia to a library and teach them Imam Hussein.
The thing is, I 100% agree
And
with
not
you,
everything
Sufyan.
is about outreach. Sometimes it's about my connection to my Imam and what I want to do for my Imam.
I mean, when we do Azadari, it's not about spreading the message.
it's not about
us mourning. It's us grieving. You know, where does the chest beating come
if your
from?
father, God forbid, passes away, is someone gonna tell you, oh, you shouldn't cry like that?
Yeah.
Don't teach me how to cry.
Start
for
writing a
Hussein.
blog about it. Like, what? You know,
Doesn't
what I
make
mean?
sense.
No,
And
it
when
doesn't.
we say Bi-Abi anta wa ummi Aba Abdullah al-Hussein,
Hussain.
it's not just words. May my mother and father be sacrificed for you, Imam al-Hussein.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to allow someone to tell me how to mourn for my father, I'm going to allow him to tell me how to mourn for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. No way.
Exactly.
No way. I don't even have time for you.
And
Yeah.
even when you mentioned, it gives sometimes the azar and stuff can portray a bad image. Two things. Number one, is that valid that it portrays a bad image? Because it's very subjective. People see things in what they say. A painting gives 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Paints 1,000 pictures so per 1,000 words, and then it's like when you look at azar, you may have one opinion. Someone else looks at it, they may see it from a different angle. Another one looks at it.
But do you know why I bring the argument forward? And I'm not saying I'm making the argument as an opinion of mine.
No, of course not.
But the reason I bring the argument forward is because, for example, for me who grew up surrounded as the only Shi'i in my year, okay, so and then you know our good friend Zamir who introduced Shia studies into the UK education system.
Shout out to Imam Hussein.
He did when he was talking to me about sort of how Shi'ism used to be portrayed, it was literally one picture of blood on someone and that kind of stuff. And I'm speaking about the 11-year-old Minhal, or the 12-year-old Minhal, or the 12-year-old Hussain Sukhni. I don't know how 12-year-old Hussain Sukhni was, but I'm speaking about those. And when they're surrounded and a 12-year-old is seeing this picture, okay, how does that affect them in their perception of their own madhab? And does that make them doubt it from a young age?
I'll tell you how. Are you okay with it now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, why would you not want to have that built in you when you were younger, to be even stronger in your belief?
No, but not everyone had the same upbringing as you, Hussein.
I know, but what I'm saying is now at my stage, thinking back, because I remember those textbooks. Thinking back, so at the time maybe I was, okay, I don't know why they're using that as the front image of Tashayyu'. You know, we've got a lot of other stuff, you know. But now looking back at it,
you're proud of it.
Bismillah, you know, I'd have preferred if they explained it more instead of just putting a picture.
No, but see, everyone has their different sort of inbuilt resilience in how they perceive and how they ask questions. Someone will say,
but bro, it's not meant to be rosy dozy or whatever they call it.
No, but you're looking at a 12-year-old.
It's not meant to be, but it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be clouds and rainbows. The whole point of some of these azats and these rituals is meant to shake you to your core.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. And we're making it seem like, okay, do it, but let's not show it in such a... No, it's meant to shake you to your core. It's meant to make you scream
there's
and
a lot
shout
of people
and cry.
that look at our Azai may question. And I'm talking about non-Muslims, by the way. But there's so many who are intrigued, interested. They want to read up more.
Oh no, but apparently those people don't exist. Oh, show me one.
Plenty, and I'm talking academics, professors from universities who've probably written a thesis on these rituals that we do in school.
I use Tatbir, not specifically Tatbir, but the Sha'ar Imam Hussein as a opening point when I discuss it with my colleagues and people outside the madhab. Straight away I use it.
Do you go
and always what? How do you think I go to work after Yom al-Ashur?
Bold.
You think I can wear a hat in the office?
Yeah, no.
But I'll explain it. This is the problem. The problem is we don't explain why we do things.
Properly.
We just put it out there. Oh yeah, no, Tatbir, the rest of the world can, go worry about. No, explain it. No problem.
But on that point, do you remember Cardiff City fans have a thing they do called the Ayatollah?
Do the Ayatollah, yeah.
Slapping their heads.
Yeah.
Really?
It's called, it's called the Ayatollah.
What?
Right? Yeah. So they go, oh.
So basically, the story of if I'm not mistaken, when Sayyid al-Khou'i had died, when he had passed away, they had a tashyi' for him in Cardiff, a janazah for him.
Okay.
And I think they were doing like azat Not
Yeah.
for Sayyid al-Khouti, but for Imam Hussein Wuddat Tashyi' al-Janaza.
Okay.
So that was like a shock to the people of the city. And now it became a chant. in the
These
stadium.
hooligans saw
Really?
it.
They'll
These
just do the
hooligans-
Ayatollah and start doing latam on their head.
These hooligans saw it and they thought, "Oh, these lot are nutters," and they adopted it.
No.
It's all
way.
about how you portray stuff. It's
Yeah.
all about.
Football fans are doing it.
How many times have you seen on like Instagram on those Snapchat stories people walking on fire?
Yeah,
Them hippies.
loads.
Yeah.
Loads. I'm not saying
It's meant to be
Yeah, I'm not saying we
spiritual,
to compare ourselves to those who are hipsters, which is what the
Yeah.
argument is.
Yeah.
But when they do it, all of a sudden it's not a bad image. It's spiritual, it's
Yeah.
holistic, it's good for your feet, it's good for your. But when we do it for someone who sacrificed everything for us to feel 1% of the pain that his daughters went through, all of a sudden it's a problem. It's all about how confident we are in what we do and how we portray it.
I feel there's more objection from our own community, from our brothers and sisters within the Shia faith
Yeah.
than outside.
Do you know what my dad
And
once told me?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's disgusting. Honestly.
Do you know what my dad once told me? My dad is probably my dad is like anti going extreme to obviously he has his own perspective of what extreme sha'ar is. But I'll never forget this. He told me, Minhal, if one day you have so much jaza and so much emotion that the tragedy of Karbala, that you feel like Latom is just not doing it for you, he goes, pick up that sword and strike your head.
Wow.
And he is, I was shocked when I heard this, because he's Latom, light Latom, that kind of stuff. It's all about learning about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and everyone has their own connection with Imam
Yeah,
Hussein
let's
alayhi salam.
not take that away that just because you don't do latam or you don't do like bloodletting or this that doesn't make you
Definitely
less.
not. We're not
of
advocating
Azza
for Tatbir.
or
We need to make that clear. We're not advocating for Tatbir. But what I'm trying to say is, don't dictate how someone else should mourn
yeah,
for their father. Simple as that. You feel like crying, like you mentioned. You feel like just doing latam,
Yeah.
and that's you be in your own zone and doing that. Bismillah.
yeah.
But don't force him to do Tatbir.
So how?
Nor can he force you not to do. For example,
Yeah, stop
but they will
him
use
from
Tatbir
doing it,
as an
yeah.
example because let's say, for argument's sake, it's the most extreme example.
Yeah.
But it applies to everything.
But what do you think about, let's say, people who? Because obviously we've seen it happen. I don't think we should shy away from it.
Yeah.
But obviously, when on the 10th of Muharram, all three of us have been in Karbala at the same time
Yeah.
on the 10th of Muharram, and we've gone together.
Yeah.
Towards the I act as the medic just because there's ajr and thawab in it. But when the mu'adhin starts the adhan,
Yeah.
people just start striking their heads, not going towards salah.
I haven't seen that myself. I've seen everyone pray salah, but maybe that was because of the area I was
seen
in.
that.
I was on
You've
Shara
seen it,
Qibla
right?
I've seen
by
it,
the entrance.
But what's that got to do with the ritual itself?
Because for me,
I'm not saying it's a good thing. Of course,
Yeah.
pray your salah.
yeah,
إذا قبلت قبل ما سواها
Yeah.
إذا ردت ردت ما سواها.
Okay.
Imam Hussein
Well-
died in the battlefield and he still prayed his salah on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Pray your salah. There's no discussion or argument.
but
Excuse,
don't
But
our,
just because even if you say 50% of those who Tatbir didn't pray, for argument's sake, even though it was just like a handful of people.
a handful of people, but they
literally
still
handful
exist.
out
Yeah.
of tens of thousands that done Tatbir on the day of Ashura in Karbala,
Yeah.
it was a handful of people. That's his problem. He's disobeying his Lord. He's doing Tatbir for the wrong reasons. Tatbir is not a game. Tatbir is not for me to show off, I done Tatbir this year. Tatbir is I believe, a form of ibadah.
Yeah.
Bringing you closer to the Ahlulbayt, and you're coming closer to the Ahlulbayt, it's a form of ibadah. And I can't do the mustahabbat and leave the wajibat.
Yes.
No matter how mustahab it is, no matter how much ajr you get from it.
Because there's people out there that say latom, my latom is my salah, or my tatbir is my salah. But this is the point that I was trying to get.
Yeah,
which
but
is
don't
the-
forget, a
which
lot of
is the
stuff
point
is,
you made.
is poetic as well.
Yeah.
No. There's people out there who actually don't pray and say these 10 nights of Muharram, this is my ibadah. That's it. Allah will accept it. He won't. But this is the point that you made. Don't leave your wajibat for your mustahabbat.
I know people that pray, but when it comes to Ramadan, they don't fast. So what's,
I know people that fast, but they don't pray.
What's that got to do with me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's that got to do with me?
Exactly.
That's
No, but
between
as-
them and their Lord. The same way that my azat is between me and Imam Hussein.
No, but don't you feel like as a Shi'i, it is somewhat a duty upon you. Again, not coming from an angle of arrogance or I'm better than this person or holier than thou, but from an angle of as a Shi'i, you want better for your Shi'i brother.
How do you do that?
Huh?
Yeah, I mean,
You do wudu, you get up and pray.
yeah.
Khalas.
Like, listen, I know people.
That's what I think.
I know
Get up and
people
pray.
who come for ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussain and don't pray. Now, what
for the whole ziyarah.
What does that mean? Yeah, for the whole ziyarah, they don't even pray. So what? Do I stop them from doing the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussain?
No, you don't stop them.
You know?
But I'm saying you want what's better for them.
The best thing is
What, the prayer time,
lead by
go to the
example.
haram and pray.
Lead by example and also educate them. Brother, sister, mashallah, may Allah accept your azar, your amal, whatever you're doing. But try and do this as well. Try and do
And
that.
also don't.
Imam Hussein taught us this. Imam Ali taught us that.
I think I've had enough of playing devil's advocate now. I think don't fall into the trap of shaitan of telling someone if you're not gonna pray, you might as well not do latum, or you might as well not do sha'ar, or you might as well not do this. Because you never know that one story or that one moment where they're striking their chest or
one line they hear,
that one line they hear that they just
You don't know
turn.
what that person's going through. Maybe he's already been so far from religion in general, and this is his step towards it. You don't know.
That's the whole thing of Muharram, and we take personalities like Hazrat Khur.
Yeah.
Who did a whole 180. You know? And this may be their chance to do that 180. Like you said, beating the chest might do it. Listening to the Musibah, just watching the devotion that the brothers have when they're doing Tatbir or Zanjir Zani and so forth. That they're gonna let out blood for Imam Hussein. Maybe enough. Just that switch or that.
But there's also one person we forget. We never mentioned who also did a 180. Zuhair ibn al-Qayn.
Yeah.
Zuhair ibn al-Qayn was known as an Uthmani.
Yeah.
And obviously when he saw Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and he heard the call of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, 180. Complete 180.
So, I mean, like, we can't restrict anyone from the Azar, nor should we restrict anyone from doing Azar. And our Maraja, and God bless
and
our
I think
Maraja,
don't judge people. Just leave people to do their Azar on their own.
True.
Like, if you don't agree with it, no problem. I have no problem with you not agreeing with it. My opinions have changed over time. They probably will change over time even more. Just don't judge someone. Leave the person be. The person is probably...
It's not your environment. Don't be there. Khalas.
Listen, there's probably... You're probably... Let's say you're in Karbala, right? And you're looking at... You've got 1,000 people in your eyesight. Okay? There's one person there who's just sitting there. Let's say they're striking their head or they're striking their back. Their mind is with Hussein. I'm hoping. And obviously husn al-dhan and benefit of the doubt. My mind is going to the fact that their mind is with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Your eyes are just on this person saying, "Oh, look what he's doing. He's showing up." Baba, leave the person alone. For crying out loud.
If you're not there for that reason, stay home. You are there for Rikdat al-Tawarij, come out for Rikdat al-Tawarij. You're here for Shama Ghariban, come out for Shama Ghariban. I believe revive all the rituals of the Ahlulbayt. But if it's not for you, don't get involved. Don't get involved.
Just leave someone
between
to
me and
do
my
it
Mawla. Why can't I have my time with my Mawla? Why can't I? Why do I have to play by your rules when it comes to the way I'm one for Imam Hussein?
Do you know what it reminded me of? I swear, and obviously it's not a laughing time, but there was a video circulating of a guy near the Kaaba. He was just making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And saying, Ya Allah, money.
Oh, yeah.
And Allah, flus.
Yeah.
And then some guy said to him, say, Ya Allah, Jannah. It's not your business.
Yeah.
Leave the guy wants flus, he wants flus.
Yeah.
Let him pray for flus.
Yeah, exactly.
Similarly, if you have no business in a person's life, leave them with the azar. And then maybe if you want to be a good human being and a good Shi'i brother or sister, inquire, be like, how comes you did it this way? I'd like to learn more. Why are you doing that way?
But come to me after Ashura.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
Don't come speak to me about this during the 10 days.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have time
after.
For you. Finish. Let us do what we got to do. You want to have a conversation? We can have a conversation. It's not about them being good and then approaching me
the
and
time
like we're doing
right.
something
Not
wrong.
now.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. After.
And
After it's finished.
And it's not even a case of them being good Samaritans to come speak to me. No, I feel like I'm being good enough just to giving them an open ear.
Yeah.
No,
to
but
discuss
hold on. So, some people are just curious. Some people are not educated.
Yeah, but it doesn't make them good or bad to open that. That's one thing I want to make clear.
No.
Because the way we word things is important as well.
No, they want to inquire as to how come you
Bismillah.
did it this way? Maybe I can feel.
I've always been open about it.
Yeah.
I've always been open about it. You want to ask me, come ask me. You want to ask what I think about certain Azar rituals, ask me. You want me to introduce you to someone, I can introduce you to someone. No problem. But I'm not here for a debate. And if you want to have a genuine question answer session and know why I do what I do, come to me after Ashura. I don't have time for you. I don't have the mental capacity for you. Yeah. That's it.
Right. We comfortable going with onto Maraja and Tatbir, or we're
Let's
not
do
good
it.
with that?
There's nothing to be shy from. Like the Maraja''s Fatawi are out there.
So there has been anti-Azar campaigns, whether that is don't cry loudly, whether it is don't take your shirt off to do latham, whether that is Tatbir, and they'll use certain scholars' pictures and so forth who are advocates of a no blood policy, let's say, and things like that. And on the other hand, we have plenty of Maraja, famous Maraja from Najaf, the likes of Sheikh Bashir Najafi, the likes of Sheikh Isaq al-Fiyadh. If you want to go to Iran, the likes of Sheikh Wahid Khurasani, channel favorite, His Eminence Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi, who are very, very pro. Sayyid Sadiq Rouhani, I think he's passed away.
Sheikh Wahid, Sheikh Bashir Najafi. There's a few of them.
There's so many that are advocates and pro Azadari, pro bloodletting, whether it's striking the head, striking the back.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Are the Maraja propaganda machines, or are they there as a source for information?
See, this is the thing.
Because if I want to do anything, sha'ar aside, if I want to learn if my wudu was correct, if I had a cast on, for example, I'm going to go seek that information. I'm not going to say the Sistani, for example, may Allah bless him, come out and say in big posters, you must wipe over your cast instead of. This should be the same as anything else. Why are we pushing out certain things, whether it's pro-Tatbir or anti-Tatbir? I will say it.
Push sha'ar as a whole, not just Tatbir.
It doesn't need to be promoted.
Would you say it's fitna?
What?
I think
bringing up these issues of my Marja says it's haram, you can't do it, no, and my Marja says
no. I think that there's a way of talking to people. As Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, when he put, I think it was his fourth ambassador in the Ghaib al-Sughra, he didn't say he was the most knowledgeable. He said he's the person who knows best how to speak to people. So it's not really about, I wouldn't say it's about fitna or about, but the way you said it was a more of an attacking stance that people take, which is a majority of people. My marja says it's haram, you can't do it. Haram, don't do it.
But
chill.
I still to this day don't get why it's a discussion.
Exactly.
It's not
Maraja differ
whether
many,
you're
many
pro or
topics.
against. Again, I'm not here to advocate anything or push anything out there. Everyone knows my stance. I'm public about my stance. But I'm not here to convince you, and I'm not there for you to convince me. Any other fiqhi mas'ala, this is aqaidi mas'ala, but any other mas'ala, moon sighting. Why are we arguing about it? You have a question, who do you follow? Say the Sistani? Go look at his maktab, what does it say? You follow say Sadiq al-Shirazi? Go ask his wakil. Simple as that. I'm not here to speak on their behalf, because day of judgment, I'm not taking responsibility for you.
Exactly.
And you're not there to speak on behalf of your marja. You
Wallah,
have a question, go look at the mas'ala fiqhiyya,
at the end of
and
the
that's
day,
it. Khalas.
You have your grave. You have your grave.
That's it.
You have your grave. I have my grave.
That's it.
Stop concerning yourself with what people do, which marja' people follow,
Whatever
what
it
their
is.
marja' says. But we're Shia, we're hated enough as it is around the world. People don't like us as it is. We are surrounded. Have you seen that?
They can hate us as much as they want.
Have you seen? No. But this is what I'm saying. That have you seen that 20 versus 1 series on YouTube? That's us. We're the one. There's 20 of them. That everyone hates us. Why are we differing with each other? Has no problem. Your marja' said this. His marja' said this. At the end of the day, you have Abu Abdullah.
don't care.
You have Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. That's what unites us. Stop going into these things where because my marja' said it's haram and your marja' said it's halal, then your marja' is a fasiq and your marja' is not a marja' and your marja' hasn't studied and
Is your marja' ma'soom? Is your marja' ma'soom?
No.
Is your marja' ma'soom? My marja' is not ma'soom. I've got 14 infallibles.
MashaAllah.
So everyone is open to debate. Everyone, whether you're pro this or anti this. Everyone. And I'll get backlash from both camps. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I know and I can say with my chest, I have 14 infallibles.
MashaAllah.
And they are the word of God. And what they say, لا ينطقون على الهوى. They don't speak anything from themselves.
Yeah.
But
All
also one thing you brought up about Maraja, and no, I completely agree with you. But also don't, yani, by the way, our community gets to such a low stance and such a low point in their akhlaq, where it gets to a point of a scholar just gets hurdled with curse words and everything and demonized. Wallah, because he differed with your opinion.
Yeah.
Your marja' says don't do azar. Your marja' says tap your chest, don't beat your chest. No problem. I have no problem with that. If that for you is a way of you connecting with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, then don't judge.
By all means,
don't judge Hussein, Sukhni's or Muhsin or Minhal's way of mourning Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That just
There's no need.
We'll get along just fine if everyone.
I always say, let's unite as Shia.
Live and let live. I don't even need to bro. Just live and let live. That's as simple as that.
I think also that it is a duty upon every Shia to defend our faith and
100%.
And defend the azar. Whether you are pro shirts off or not, or you're pro crying out loud.
But these things are minor things.
I know, but we can't have our own, attacking it and saying,
of course.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. Oh, they sliced their back.
Yeah, but at the same time, would you force someone? Would you attack someone who doesn't do it?
Me, who doesn't? No, never. Why would I? No, everyone's entitled to their azar the way they want to.
Exactly.
Okay, if like I do Zanjir with the blades, right? If that's not for you, that's fine. That's not a problem.
I will never say you're a muqassar or anything like that.
I will never even judge your mourning for Abu Abdullah Hussain. But don't stop me from doing it.
Yeah.
And don't judge me because I do it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
right.
you strike your head, you strike your back, I'll strike my chest, I'll provide medical assistance, everything. After the 10th of Muharram is finished, we're all going to sit together in the same room, have breakfast, talk about Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So leave all these things to the side. These things are not things that we should differ upon.
They're not relevant at all.
And
Yeah,
just disunite over.
Exactly, yeah.
We're Shi'at Ali.
I believe and I feel that regardless whether you're pro bloodletting or anti-bloodletting, there are plenty of Maraja, majority on the pro side than anti, but the likes of obviously say Sadiq Shirazi, the likes of say Sadiq Rouhani, the likes of Sheikh Wahid Khurasani, I think even Sayyid Khou'i, rahmatullah alayhi, furthermore, influential figures, a lot of I'm not going to mention their names because they don't want to be associated with it, but a lot of the scholars you see in the
English-speaking
community, Tatbir, Bloodlet, furthermore, the likes of Shahid Nimr was a big advocate for Tatbir, and so forth. But getting into this marja politics, I don't think it does any good for, number one, our community, number two, the azar, and the mourning and grieving, and finally the Majlis of Abu Abdullah Hussain.
I think the bottom line is if you follow your marja on everything, follow them on this mas'ala as well. That's the bottom line. Like I know my marja makes it not just permissible, makes it mustahab.
Mustahab, yeah.
Say the Sistani, he doesn't comment, so which makes it mubah.
I could open up a can of worms there, but I'm not going to.
There's people who represent Sistanis, they say we don't get
right
involved.
Now, the official answer from the office
we're not getting involved.
Yeah, we're not giving a verdict.
If it was haram, he'd have said it's haram. Yeah. If it was mustahab, he'd have said it's mustahab in his opinion.
Yeah.
So go back to your marja. Sayyid Sa'id al-Hakim, rahmatullah, was pro, for example.
Yeah.
Follow your marja. Like at the end of the day, it's not this. We're not here to argue. We're not here to discuss. I'm not here to push what I believe. I'm not here to be at the recipient end for you to push what you believe.
But again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you a brain, gave you a aql.
Yeah.
Okay. If you feel like this is something that's going to, and sincerely, that's going to get you closer to the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam, and if you feel like something that's going to get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? By all means, do it.
100%.
By all means, do it.
It's not hukum. If the marja says okay, it doesn't mean you have to do it.
No.
Yeah.
And we always forget, and we think that the marja knows for certain what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's law is. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's a student of the law of Islamic jurisprudence.
he's just doing his best.
From the literature that has reached him.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many
Exactly.
books that we don't have.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to start and say, oh, well, we don't have this book and this. No, I have no idea. I have no idea what books we have and what books we don't
lost
have.
a lot of
But we've lost a lot.
Yeah.
And we've heard it from the Majlis. Who knows?
Exactly.
Maybe they can derive a hukum from all those books that we've lost. Point is, leave this marja politics. You do what gets you closer to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Even there was a group of people, my uncle was telling me, they went to their marja.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention the name of the marja. But they went to their marja and they said to him, so what's your hukum on Tatbir? He said, that is haram. But no problem. Okay, you want to respect your marja and follow him. You think you feel like you have an aqil and that this is going to get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, we'll follow you 364 days, 10th of Muharram, we're not following you. We're following another marja, we're doing Tatbir. No problem. No problem. Khalas. This is what you feel gets you closer to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein.
That's a valid point. As in, there's probably loads of muqallideen of pro Tatbir that don't do it.
Yeah.
And there's probably loads of muqallideen of the
100%.
anti-Tatbir fatwa, but
That
they do it.
Yeah.
That will do it.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it's not just preference, but it's just your devotion towards Abu Abdullah Hussein and where that stirs you.
I will never judge someone who picks up a sword, even if I'm anti, which I'm not. But even before, when I didn't know what Tatbir was and I was really skeptical about it, not knowing anything about it, I would never judge someone who picked up a sword and hit their head. Because I don't know what Abdullah would do to me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to find out what would happen to me if, for example, I get pulled aside on their judgment and be like why are you judging?
We're coming towards the end of the show. I see we've got a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to ask you guys in terms of keeping it with the Azar and that there's different opinions of Azar. There's a lot of different ways people do Latham. You know, my favorite is Shur. I'll just say it straight up.
Yeah?
Shur is my favorite. I really, really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy the style, the poetry, the way it's recited, everything. It creates a real amazing atmosphere of mourning and grieving, as if Abu Abdullah Hussein has just passed away, just died, I should say, not died, martyred.
Yeah.
I've seen in the Iraqi community, and not just the Iraqi community, there's probably loads of different communities, where there are new styles of mourning and Latham. They do get questioned. You know, they do think, what is this? I'm sure when people first started to recite Arabic Latamiyat in a Farsi style, people might have laughed at them and said, what is this? And that was very, very common. You know, development of
But by the way,
Azar.
you say this, but a lot of this stuff has actually been around. Just we don't see it because of social media. Like a lot of the stuff that you see on social media are there in the villages in Iran, in the north of Iran, the south of Iran, in that one village in Nasiriyah, in that one area in Basra. But we didn't know about it until, you know, people started going to Arbaeen.
Yeah, like for
social
example,
media.
Nasiriyah or Samawa, where I'm from Samawa, like down south, to commemorate someone or someone who's just passed away, for example, they do Hosat. Now, someone who looks from the outside of what a horse is, these
like
guys are celebrating.
Yeah, it looks
these
like
guys are having a celebration.
But it's not.
All throughout Arbaeen, all throughout Najaf to Karbala, you see them. They're jumping around Hosat.
In front of the shrine.
Hosat, and you say, why
That's
are
the
these
way
guys?
of that's their way of mourning.
That's
Bismillah.
That's how they do it. And it's the poetry. It's the words of
praising the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Paying homage and honor. The valiancy, the courage.
There you go.
And this is how they do it. That's their style. Yeah.
And that's why I never understood when people said this is a celebration of life, because obviously we're sad and everything until I saw these guys.
Yeah.
You know, they're sort of paying homage, as you said, and
Keeping
praising
the
the bravery and all that kind of stuff. So people's way, people's cultures, let people be. Like for example in Iran, where they hold shoulder to shoulder. And they just go like that, and then
they
just
swing,
do a lot of.
I think
they go around.
Yeah,
They have
so
a big circle.
that's Saf Matam, and all I think derives from the same area.
Okay.
But they're the Hasawi Ahwazis, the Arabs of Iran who do that.
I never knew of that, and I saw it. I was like, oh, interesting. But I'm not gonna go on a hissy fit saying, oh, wallah, no, this is wrong, this is haram. Blah, 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 blah.
I saw one with Iranians and they've got like stones or something and they're just clapping the stones and stuff. And I've never seen this before. I thought it was a new invention or something. I thought, what is this?
Do you know how old
What's
that is,
that thing called?
That's old.
How old is that? And what do you know about the philosophy behind it? What
No, I don't get it, but I don't have to get it. I don't have to get everything. That's their way of mourning. They've been doing it for centuries. But now that I have come from London thinking I know how we should mourn for Imam Hussein, I should tell them that's wrong. Again, I don't get it. I wouldn't mourn like that. But Bismillah.
What's the one that that group of guys that came to Shia Voice? Zorkhona?
yeah, the Palwans, the wrestlers.
I had no idea what that was. Never seen it in my life.
That's not mourning. That's a sport.
Exercise.
Oh,
but
they were reciting Fadail of Ahlulbayt alayhim salam.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone wants to do that, no problem. No problem at all. Stop judging people. I'm sorry, I'm looking at you on that. I'm saying,
right.
but stop judging. Leave people alone. That's. I think that's the message to take home. Leave people alone. You're not going to get judged for their actions. You have your grave. I have my grave. You'll lay in it. I'll lay in it.
Yeah, you're answerable for your own.
That's
actions.
It.
Yeah. Indeed.
So what would you say is your most spiritual? What would you say is your most spiritual way of azat that you really feel connected to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam?
If it's Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, then it is the eve of Ashura.
No, but your form of azat.
That night, just when the Latham starts, all the way, and I really enjoyed the Karbala traditions and rituals, mashaq, at the end, not at the beginning, at the end,
yeah.
Mashaq. Sometimes they'll have whole start when they recite the poem. It's like it's a war dance, like we're getting ready to give our lives for Abu Abdullah. There's shul, there's latham, there's parts where everyone will sit down, there's silence, no latham, nothing, and the poetry will be recited, and so it's a really beautiful experience.
What would you say is yours? Where you feel most connected spiritually?
Allah Muhsin knows me. Wherever there's a majlis, I'm there, to be honest. I don't care about the language. Like you get good types of shur and
for example,
bad types of shur. Good types of Karbala has bad types. But for me, the most important thing is if I'm beating my chest, the words have to be masab of the Ahlulbayt.
But for you, is it more latam that you feel more connected? Is it tatbir?
I don't think of it like that, bro. I don't think about it like that because it's not. I don't.
No, I'm not asking you to compare.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to compare.
I know what you're saying, but it's unfair as well because we've done like 9 nights of Latham and it's only once. For some, it's 2 nights though. For Ali al-Akbar, they may do some bloodletting, but it's like we save the bloodletting rituals for the penultimate for the
and even then, I don't think of it like that. Like I don't think, oh, okay, I'm excited. I'm going to do Tatbir on the day of Ashura. It's not a activity for me.
Yeah. Also,
we have to think of it as a musibah,
There's sometimes I may feel more connected to Abu Abdullah Hussein doing Latham. Maybe listening to the Masayib and crying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel more connected that way.
You mentioned
my head
just the night of Ashura, just sitting there. You know how many times we've sat there in the channel in Karbala and just listened to Ya Layl Tawal Sa'atik.
Oh yeah.
Heartbreaker.
On the eve of Ashura. That for me is the biggest form of azat that I could do. Just my heart just breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you against doing tatbir any other time of the year? Just quickly.
I'm not against anything.
No, as in, do you feel like tatbir should be exclusive to the 10th of Muharram?
I think the only thing that should be, well, actually, no, I can't say that. But I think there are certain stuff that are khususi for Yawm al-Ashur.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll never hear the maqtal apart from the day of Ashura.
Oh.
Really?
Never.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I'll leave the room if someone's playing
I
it. I do not want to hear the maqtal.
See, I'm different.
I can't.
Sometimes if I really feel like life is really getting tough and I can't just let my emotions out.
I'll listen to the Masa'ib.
I'll listen to the maqtal. I think for me the only thing that can actually make me cry instantaneously without me having to listen to anything is the maqtal, and it has to be in Sheikh Abdul Zahar al-Kabi's voice.
Yeah, for me 100%.
Rahmatullahi alayh.
Rahmatullahi alayh.
Abdul Zahar al-Kabi. for myself, I think that, well, what I was taught, me personally, I think you can do Azar whenever you want, however you want, for the Ahlulbayt, no problem. These certain rituals are reserved for Ashura and so forth. I did speak to some of my superiors, teachers and so forth, and they said you can do Azar whenever you want. Lakin with Ashura, do more. Make that a bit more specific, more special.
Make that
you want to do
out.
Tatbir for Amirul Mu'mineen, for Imam Hussain, for all the Imams, go ahead. But like for Abu Abdullah Hussain, do it with 2 hands, 2 qamat, not 1. Or you did 3 strikes, on that one do 5. Like do more. Like in a way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kind of reserved Azadari for the Ahlulbayt, but specifically Abu Abdullah Hussain. There's more you have to do for him, and there's more ajr and so forth. So I think you should be able to do Azar whenever you want, regardless. Even if you want to do it on Eid, I know it's a day of celebration, but if you want to take some time to do Azar, and it's happened, I've seen it when they do the khutbah after the prayer. Sometimes there's a masayib in there, and so forth. You know?
Moral of the podcast is: don't judge people, leave people alone.
Final thoughts, brothers.
Don't judge people, leave people alone. Let them do Azar on their own, whatever they want to do.
I think, I really don't like this. I'll be honest with you. As much as I've spoken about this in my life, I don't like this discussion because it's not a discussion to be had, in my opinion. You want to do it? Do it.
No, we can explore different opinions.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me personally,
Yeah.
I don't want to just explore opinions. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy to have the conversation with you if you want to have the conversation, but I'm not here to discuss or debate you. What about you, Said? What would you feel like you'd
Final
be the
thoughts.
final message for the
My
viewers?
final thoughts would be that people do Azar and mourn Abu Abdullah Hussain in many different ways. Some you may understand, some you may not understand. However, I feel it is incumbent upon every single lover of Abu Abdullah Hussain to protect the rituals, whatever they may be. Whether you agree or disagree, we must protect the rituals. Why? Because if we lose one, we'll lose another. We lose Tatbir in Zanjir, then they'll come for Latham. They'll lose Latham, then they'll come for the Masiba. They'll come for our tears. We lose that, and then Karbala will be forgotten. It is incumbent.
Never. I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Well, maybe not never, but can you see how?
Yeah. As in it happened, I don't know, like open up discussion. What happened in the time of that Mal'un Saddam?
Really?
They started off with stopping the Mashaya and then stopping the Izziyat in Karbala and stopping. People had to do it in private.
There you go.
But was Karbala forgotten?
Never. No, Karbala will never be forgotten. However,
Karbala is protected,
inshallah,
from above.
But when they attacked the Azar and they attacked, in a way, we are losing.
It ignited more in us.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I can't afford my children not to have Azar in their life.
Agreed.
And I can't afford for them to be growing up in a world where, you can't be crying.
Agreed.
You can't be beating your chest.
But I guarantee
Don't
if you ask the elders who grew up in the time of Saddam and who weren't able to do Azar and that kind of stuff and having to do it in private, I think for them that was a very spiritual thing because they were doing it in fear and they were doing it because they loved Abu Abdullah.
Like a lot of people did in COVID. Not to that extent,
There
but
you go.
to some
So
extent.
not just, let's say like this, we must protect the Azar.
Agreed.
At the same time, we must keep the Azar alive.
أحيوا أمرنا رحم الله من أحيا أمرنا.
So protect Azar and mind your business.
On that note, thank you very much, brothers, inshallah.
Thank you, Sayyidina.
May Allah subhanahu wa
Thank you.
ta'ala accept all your amal. Maybe Fatima Zahra, salam alaikum, may she accept your Azar for Hassan, Abu Abdullah
Inshallah.
Hussain. To all our viewers, thank you for watching the Shia Vibes. Shia Vibes, is myself, Sukhni. Today was Minhar. We also have Saif Ali. And also, there's a big team behind, we special thanks to Muhammad Fahad, also Muhammad Rada Ma'ash, Salman Bai, Amir Raza, all those involved here at the Shia Vibes podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And inshallah, we'll see you on the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya Hussain.
Ya Hussein.
Yeah, Ali.